Ozanic Baba's new romance throws the spotlight into overdrive, and Sinem Ünsal answers with a move that shakes the industry. Welcome to Whispers of Turkish Stars. Before we dive in, hit subscribe and stay with us, because today we're unpacking one of the most heated stories in Turkish entertainment. Who's with whom? Who struck first? What's real, what's rumor, and how are fans reacting? It's all here, step by step, with the whispers behind the curtain. Let's step into the shadows behind a love story, Ozanic Baba and Sinem Ünsal. For a long stretch they were the couple everyone adored, magnetic on camera, effortless off it. Their chemistry became a conversation in itself, the kind of spark that leapt from red carpets and charity stages to late-night timelines. Fans called it the kind of love you only see once, candid smiles, behind-the-scenes laughter, the way they seemed to be in the same rhythm without trying. But like all dazzling romances, small fractures began to show, the ones no one wants to talk about until everything is too loud to ignore. When the breakup happened, neither Ozan nor Sinem offered a manifesto or a tidy explanation. There was no statement unraveling the knot or defining a villain. And yet, subtle signals told a separate story, posts with layered captions, the unfollows refollowed then unfollowed again, public appearances that felt more calculated than spontaneous. People close to the scene whispered of back-and-forth texts, of unresolved tension that only hardened in silence. This is how a private split became the headline feud of 2025, comfort sought in other arms, and each new step doubling as a message. There are three names at the core of this tale: Ozanic Baba, Sinem Ünsal, and Selin, but the truth cuts deeper than a simple new love triangle. What we're seeing is a clash of emotions and pride, where two former lovers circle each other through their choices, their timing, and the spotlight they both know too well. Ozan and Sinem earned a place in the public heart by simply being themselves. He, intense and private, a leading man whose off-screen charisma always hinted at more than he showed. She, luminous and disciplined, the kind of actress who turns every scene into a confession. For a while, their world looked untouchable. Elegant events, shared causes, that unmistakable tenderness. But over time, differences hardened. Work schedules pulled them in opposite directions, their definitions of privacy didn't always align, and jealousies, however human, got involved. The ending became inevitable. But the silence after? That was just the beginning. What shook the table wasn't the breakup, it was how both of them handled what came next. One side made a choice in the full glare of social media. The other stayed quiet until the ground felt steady under her feet. And when the first move landed, the internet lit up. Ozan appeared with Selin, an online phenomenon with a style and presence that make everything trend within minutes. Sinem, meanwhile, chose discretion for a while. The spark that set everything ablaze came in the summer of 2025. Ozan, who had been meticulous about keeping his private life off the grid, posted a photo on Instagram that broke that rule in an instant. His hand intertwined with Selin's, the city lights blurring into a romantic hush. The caption? "Give it time, everything falls into place." It wasn't just an introduction, it read like a closing line directed at the past. Fans gasped, pressed replay, and screenshot every pixel. Then came a detail no one could ignore: the resemblance comments. Is Ozan with Sinem's mirror image? This looks strategic, not romantic. Put Selin and Sinem side by side, tell me you don't see it. Those were the lines moving from group chats to trending pages in a matter of hours. A person in Ozan's circle added fuel, telling us, this wasn't a spontaneous reveal. Timing was everything. He knew exactly when to go public. The post shot to the top of the trending list, and fan pages fed on the breadcrumbs for days, decoding the caption, the location, even the bracelets. While the internet buzzed around Ozan's reveal, all eyes turned to Sinem. Would she answer? Would she vanish for a bit, gather herself, and then reappear? At first, she did nothing. No notes, no heart emojis, no cryptic quotes. Observers called it patience. Others called it strategy. She's watching, fans said. She'll act when it matters. And then, days after the buzz around Ozan and Selin peaked, the second shoe dropped. Sinem was seen in Nisantasy, sunlight hitting the sidewalks, cameras trailing from a distance. At her side stood a man whose face was half guarded by a cap, but one gesture said everything. His palm rested gently on her back, protective, familiar. The photos hit the feeds the same evening. The name racing through the rumor mill was F. Gersel, a high-ranking figure in the advertising world, a man known for staying out of the drama and keeping his life chic and discreet. People talked about the choice, subtle, not flashy, high caliber without the neon lights. And the comments came in like a storm. Sinem didn't wait around, this is her play. Message received, loud and clear. They've turned heartbreak into a chess match. From that moment, the rivalry quieted but didn't fade. It sharpened. Every post felt like a counter. Every sighting read like subtext. Fan camps began to draw lines. Under Ozan's post, you could read the chorus, he found peace at last. Selin looks perfect for him, what a power duo. Sinem's loss is Ozan's win. And under Sinem's photos, the replies glowed with their own unity. She never needed to rush, her happiness is the real deal. Ozan's photo felt like theater, this looks genuine. Neutral voices tried to cut through, leaning into the obvious, they're still watching each other. This is not about love, it's about pride. Breakups end, rivalries linger. Screenshots of these exchanges bounced from gossip pages to WhatsApp groups and right back to Instagram stories. Behind it all, the psychology was impossible to ignore. This wasn't just about new partners, it was about reclaiming control. One source close to Ozan swore that he quietly keeps track of everything tied to Sinem, who she follows, which song she posts at midnight, which like she gives by dawn. Meanwhile, friends around Sinem say she was ready to turn the page, but seeing Ozan's hand-in-hand moment out in the open was all the permission she needed to stop hiding. Both sides are moving on, they insist, yet the gravitational pull hasn't fully let go. Fans have turned into live commentators on this slow-burn showdown. Lines from the comments feel like headlines in themselves. This isn't romance, it's a battle of egos. Their eyes still drift toward each other in every photo. Selin and F are the new players in a war that started years ago. Comfort in other loves, that phrase finally makes sense. On YouTube, the energy matches the frenzy. What a breakdown, so many details I missed. If Sinem's Nisantasy moment was chess, what's Ozan's next move? I love that we finally understand the timing behind all the rumors. As for what comes next, three scenarios sit at the center of every discussion. The first, the duel continues. Each side keeps posting and appearing, subtly or boldly, letting the world read what they want between the lines. The second, they separate so completely that their new relationships find room to grow without the shadow of what came before. And the third, the least likely but never off the table in this business, is that something softens, old feelings rise in the quiet, and two people who know each other better than anyone else decide to try again. So what does comfort in other loves really mean in this case? For Ozan, it looks like rebuilding his identity alongside someone who thrives in the same whirlwind of attention. Standing next to Selin, he seems to be telling the world that the past is no longer the measure of him. For Sinem, it reads like serenity, a way of saying, without fanfare, that peace and privacy can exist even while you're famous. Yet anyone with eyes can see that neither step lands in a vacuum. Each move echoes back to the beginning. The romance ended, but its aftershock still draws a crowd. And there's another layer the public can't help but dissect: style. Ozan's declaration came as cinema, deliberate framing, a caption with a tone that lingers, a partner whose silhouette triggers instant conversation. Sinem's response carried the aesthetic of a well-edited documentary, clean, quiet, but undeniable. He chose spectacle with a wink, she picked subtlety with intent. Together, they created a story loop the internet can't stop replaying. For longtime followers, this tale feels personal. They remember the charity gala where Ozan and Sinem exchanged those first inside jokes on stage. They remember the late-night interviews where a single look said more than a paragraph. They remember the travel snapshots, the way their hands met in the middle of crowded rooms. This is why people care, why they pick sides or stay neutral but never fully log off. Because somewhere inside the public version of Ozan and Sinem is a private love people believed in. So here we are watching two people who once fit perfectly learn how to exist on different paths. Watching Selin take the spotlight head-on and glide in the background. Watching timing and presentation become their own language. Watching how even silence can feel louder than a quote. Watching as every fan theory breathes a little life into the story, whether it helps or hurts. And waiting. Always waiting for the next scene. Now it's your turn to weigh in. Will this standoff keep simmering through careful posts and careful sightings? Will new relationships bloom free of past shadows? Or could an unexpected twist pull Ozan and Sinem back to the same page? Tell us what you think in the comments. And if you're here for the passion, the mystery, and the truths that only time can reveal, like this video and subscribe to Whispers of Turkish Stars. We'll keep listening, and we'll keep telling the story the way it lives on screens, in whispers, and in the beats between them.